Atlanta, violent patch not far from Hartsfield, and boom, pang, 11 people in the hospital. Holy smokes, including a staff, like pilot people, or one of the people on a worker.
Pilot people?
Well, I don't know what you call them. The crew. You can't say stewardess anymore, so now I got to think of what the hell I'm supposed to call them. Can you even say crew? Because that sounds like a crew in the boat thing, which is all men, which is therefore chauvinistic. So, what the hell can you even say? Airplane people?
You should say flight attendant.
Well, attendant. Well, you would attend to me. What are you, some sort of a slave? That's racist, man. See where you can go with this?
Pilot people are from Micronesia.
And they have microaggressions almost every day, those people. Where's the beef? Have you heard about the lawsuit against Wendy's? Holy, you're going to change a few things. Also, a coup in Gabon. And you got to be thinking, this was, it was a one-party rule for many, many years. And finally, the people had said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Anyway, Martha Stewart, the iceberg queen. By the way, she once admitted that people, when she kept saying, Martha Stewart used to be a dish. I mean, she was a model. She was gorgeous, hot. And just back, celebrity days and everything, big time Charlie in like the 50s in Hollywood, stuff like that. But she could never keep a man. And she'd go out on a date, one or two dates, and they'd never call back. And someone told her, well, you're cold. You're not very friendly. You're gorgeous and everything, but you're just, not very happy and nice. So, and I remember her telling that on somebody's show, and I thought, well, there you go. Well,
Did you ever think that it would have been a great marketing tool to have her and Snoop Dogg together?
Well, that's the other thing. She just showed up what is she, 80? Just showed up in a bikini, and they're going all gaga about Martha Stewart and what a great hot babe she is and what a trendsetter and everything. She went to prison, because, now she's in trouble because she was using part of an iceberg to cool off her drink on a tour of the great Arctic North. So, anyway, we'll talk about that. Let's see. God, I'm almost done. All right, anyway, so that's what's coming up. Let me also welcome aboard a guy named Craig. Now, remember, several months back in the spring, my life turned upside down, and it started kind of really at when I was the charity USMC Marine Corps event up at the Cobblestone Golf Course. And this guy Craig, who's a jarhead Marine forever and ever, was asked me to be a guest speaker, and I did, and I was horrible, and I forgot everything, and I was stupid, and people hated me. Anyway, but he was a great guy, and he was very nice, and he took the nurse who treated me for my heart attack 10 years ago was there with her mother, because I'd called her mother in the hospital. Anyway, so it was really a nice thing, but I was just horrible. And then Craig was the guy who said, because I've had some from Agent Orange in Vietnam and stuff, he said, well, did you ever file for your benefits? I said, no, I never did it 20 years ago. He says, you idiot. So he kind of goaded me into doing it. So that's what started everything. Back in the spring, I started filing with the VA thing, and from 2003, when I got my cancer because of the Agent Orange stuff, which unbeknownst to me at the time was the beginning of the end of my marriage. And so that was what kind of started. Then my birthday in Mardi Gras, something happened where the final wife kind of rubbed my nose in it, and my life was turned upside down because it's an upheaval. I mean, I won't tell. Anyway, it's been a bad several months. Then all of a sudden, you guys, and we're laughing about this now. All of a sudden, almost day after day, something happens to kind of bring up again my final wife. Whether it's my God bless my saintly doctor saying, I remember you in the fantasy goddess when you gave my treatment yesterday. Day before, the sweet lady we used to be great friends with called in to say hi and reminded me of the thing. Anyway, guess whose birthday it is today? So it's like, okay, now it's over. Now it's done. Now the whole circle has shown up, and finally now I think we can begin to the whole dissolution of exorcism process to finally, oh my God, end the torment of the new life that I've realized I was not living. Anyway, 3:14. Whew, boy, that felt good. It's only the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and we got actual news, and it's next on 106.3. Hey, look out. It's only me. It's only the camera with Pete and Flounder 317. And it was on this day in 2014, Kate Bush followed her stage comeback by becoming the first woman to have 8 albums in the British charts all at the same time. 2 of them were in the top 10, 8 overall, top 40. And that was after she returned for her first live concert in 35 years. The only artists ahead of Kate Bush were Elvis Presley, who had 12 entries in the top 40 after he died in 1977, and the Beatles did 11 top chart entries in 2009. Anyway, how's it going? Look out, it's just a happy time here at the old fabulous Happy Time Talk Time 318. Boys, our quick birthday list includes our old friend Congressman Ben Jones. 82 years old today, was a congressman from 89 to 93, 2 terms, Cooter on Dukes of Hazzard. And Flounder's history guy, birthday guy, writes, quote, he's also a proud supporter of the Confederate flag. He kind of has to be since he owns several Dukes of Hazzard memorabilia museums. Well, I think I remember him being affiliated. Does he have several Confederate museums? Or a memorabilia museum, Dukes of Hazzard?
I haven't heard that.
I did. I had no idea. I kind of remember years ago that he was, I don't know. Anyway, I hope he's doing well. If everybody knows Ben Jones, give us a buzz. And by the way, we love phone calls if you'd like to, because we have a lot of things to talk about today, including what just happened to Mitch McConnell. You're going to hear it in a second. Here's our number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. And to get in touch, a quick history note here today. 1951, an American soldier killed in Korea was denied burial when his body was returned to Winnebago, Nebraska. This was 1951. It was racial. He was an American Indian who gave his life for his country. When President Truman heard about this, he decreed no one should be refused burial based on race, and he was interred at Arlington National Cemetery, as it should be. 404-741-1230. How's it going? Okie doke. Here we go. Billions of stuff and things. Oh, by the way, thank you for the underpants. I'll get to that in a minute. Senator, well, there's always something. I'm sorry. It's fine now. Everything's fine now. The cleansing, the happiness. Okay. Senator Mitch McConnell. Here we go again. This is outrageous. Senator Mitch McConnell, you recall back in July. Did we ever get that other soundbite also, Flounder, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to hear 2 things about Mitch McConnell? This just happened. Kentucky Republican back in July had an issue, and there we go. Well, it happened again today. The Republican Senate Minority Leader, Mitch McConnell, froze. An aide had to come up and ask, can you hear what's going on? Here's exactly what happened, and it's hard to listen to today.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Benny.
Okay.
Hey, he's back. He's back.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Yeah.
They rebooted him.
And again, I'm making fun of him in a way, but because he said he could resign, retire. This is outrageous. He's having a TIA, and I forgot it was a transitional incentive talk. My mother had a bunch of them before she died and just fell for the last time. And they're TIAs, and they're mini strokes, and they affect your brain, and you kind of go away. And at some point, he's not going to come back. I mean, I can't believe this. They're all saying, oh, well, he's fine. That's fine now. Senator, you want to repeat the question? So he talked for a while and said, well, I don't talk about pre-election stuff. And brushed it off like, no big deal. My God, man. And Senator Dianne Feinfinkel-Cheatstein, who did the whole Kavanaugh lie with a fake letter with, what's her name, Buzzy Feely Humperbank, the Ford lady, who lied about being gang raped by the string of 900,000 white men or something. I'm freaking believable. I mean, these people have to go. Dianne Finkel-Cheatstein has her daughter as her legal guardian. So her daughter has to come in now and vote for her? And by the way, anybody care? Social media, I think, is going nuts, but this all just happened today. He spoke for 20 minutes about a question-and-answer session with reporters, and then they asked him about running again or something, and he disappeared.
It's like dealing with your senile grandparents, and you're leading them around. You have to feed them and change their diapers. That's what's ruling the country right now.
I think about it from the top down. I mean, not only Dianne Feinstein and Mitch McConnell, how about the President of the United States? How about former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi? I name all of them. The average age now is like, 82, 97? It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's offensive. And again, I'm an old guy, so I'm not talking about, it's time to die. I hope I live another couple of years, or if you don't mind, trying to build the old nest egg back, if I don't mind. Geez, and again, and by the way, I was listening to the guys right before us, and they were talking about a new study that showed the best time to reach, when you reach your peak, mentally reach your peak in order to make the best financial decisions about your life and your future. You want to get to the point where you've had enough wisdom by living long enough and have had enough mistakes to see what happens with your money and your things and your future and your goals and put it all together. And then, so they came up with a peak date after which you're going to start to decline making good decisions. And that peak date was in the early 50s. Now that, that's just a thing. That's what people are saying. But we got a couple of phone calls here, don't we, Flounder? Oh, my God, this is so cool. Anyway, so, talk about, but, I admit it, I'm 2 years away from 80, for God's sakes. Although I do read at the 90-year-old level, so I get off my freaking back. But anyway, this is a repulse. How do we got there? Now, it says Steve. Is that really a Steve?
Let's go to Rocco first.
Let's go to Rocco. We got Rocco. You're on the radio, Rocco. Thanks for calling, man. What's up?
What's going on, Cameron? I got three quick things for you.
Sam. Yes, sir.
If you want to see something hilarious,
I do.
Go back and look at Ron DeSantis' news conference when he's outside in Perry, Florida.
Uh-huh.
And look at the sign language lady. When he gets to the part where he starts talking about looting, and he says, "You loot, we'll shoot." Look at her hand signals. She has a dancing gun right across the front of her body. You loot, we'll shoot. Because apparently there's some looting going on.
I'll bet
down in Florida.
I'll bet. Shoot them.
But the other thing is, today Biden did it again. He started talking about Florida.
Yeah.
Then he pivoted to Maui.
Yeah.
And then he pivoted to him. And today he claimed that when he had that 20-minute kitchen fire in his house, he was out of his home for 7 months. So he knows what it feels like to be displaced from your home.
Oh, my God.
Because a 20-minute kitchen fire put him out of his house for 7 months. And the house, and he said, Cameron, the house almost collapsed. Yeah, is what he said.
This is how little that he and they think of us. I mean, think about really. This is insulting. Rocco, thanks, man.
And the last thing is McConnell, and it is really sad.
Yeah.
My mother went through the same. My mother was in a home at the end, and people like that, they get that age. That's exactly what they look like.
I mean, it was my mom. We've all. I mean, it was obvious as hell. They just kind of drift away, and sometimes they kind of lean. They get unbalanced and stuff, but it's just really they just kind of disappear for a while, and it's a TIA. It's a mini stroke.
It's cruel to put a man in front of a camera that has that condition. It's cruel.
It's humiliating, and it's offensive, and it's. I mean, it's everything. It's evil and negative. The man needs help. Anyway,
yes, I don't care what party it is.
Yeah, I know. You're right. Rocco, thanks, man. I really do appreciate it. 326. Who we got there? Brandon? Is that Brandon? Flounder? I'm sorry. Do you have to get in the back? Okay. Brandon, you're on the radio, man. Thank you again for calling. Yes, sir. What's up?
Kimber, thanks for having me. The reason poor McConnell is still there is because his wife is a fellow at the Hudson Institute, which is simply a neocon warmongering thug outfit that wants to get every last Ukrainian killed for Raytheon, Lockheed, and neocons. And that's why she is not letting him retire. And he just screams and yells about saving Ukraine, but all he wants to do is get a whole generation of Ukrainians killed for the egos of D.C. thugs.
I remember Mitch McConnell saying the number one issue for the Republican Party is the war in Ukraine. Remember that some time ago?
That is people care about inflation and taking care of their kids.
Nuts, yeah.
And that includes Latino Republicans, but these thugs do not care.
Yeah, and wasn't it his wife that Donald Trump has claimed as like a Chinese agent or something? Isn't she Asian?
But, I mean, Donald Trump's too dumb. He takes a racist element. You could just take a normal element and say, hey, she works at Hudson Institute, funded by Raytheon and Lockheed. She's a warmonger. He doesn't have to be a dumb racist about
it. Brandon, don't hold back next time. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. 327.
Biden just came out with a statement about the hurricane in Florida.
Yeah.
He says he knows how they feel because just the other day he was doing the dishes and a spoon got under the water stream and sprayed him in the face.
That's why you could never wash two spoons together because they both spray up at you. In fact, I always put a spoon in a fork. I don't use my washing machine. I'll do all my stuff by hand. And when I do wash the utensils, I make sure I only use a spoon and a fork together. I do them two at a time with my little scrub brush. And so I always make sure that they're flipped over so they don't couple. It's just a little Kimber kitchen tip. That's all.
There's a great meme out there of a guy standing on the side of the road and some car goes by and splashes him with water.
Yeah.
And he says, "This is me when I try to wash my spoon."
Well, it's true. I mean, there's stuff all over the place. It's all over the counter. I don't care. I'll leave it. I figure if I can spray enough stuff all over my counters and kitchen tops, there ain't no way any bugs are going to enjoy walking around in here. You know what I mean? So it's like an extra cleaning guard by not cleaning. I don't think that makes sense. God, we haven't even started yet. Wait to hear about. Have we got time? How long is that Newsmax thing, Flounder? I'm sorry, I should have checked with you.
Minute 4. We got plenty of time.
Okay, here's the Newsmax host, Greg Kelly. Here's what he says is going to happen to the crime family boss.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, he'll have only two options. Number one, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House.
Well,
they know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one, and it makes a lot of sense.
You better not be making this up, mister. 3:30, we'll be back. Hold on. next morning maybe and just enjoy our freaking sunset years. God, you know how much I'd give to have that in my life? I mean, retire. Enjoy the rest of it. You got nothing to prove. How many people, how many of you senior citizens right now are saying to yourself, oh my God, you've got everything. Stop and go enjoy the rest of your miserable life. 81. This is just heartbreaking and disgraceful and disgusting. I mean, I'm an old guy. I'm an old guy, so I'm thinking to myself, holy crap! If I had that opportunity, you think oh man! I mean, it's wrong. And again, these are the leaders of the free world. It's just all right. Well, we'll talk more about it. And hold on now. We got. I can't read that flounder. Is that line 2? Is that,
this is Eric.
Eric, you're sorry. I can't read the thing for you. Eric, you're on the radio. Thanks for calling. Yes, sir. What's going on?
I was going to weigh in on the Mitch McConnell speech here. I heard the other day from some family in Kentucky that the governor of Kentucky is threatening to challenge the the ruling where he has to appoint from the same party.
Yeah.
If Mitch McConnell could not fulfill his duties. So they're saying that a lot of people are begging him to hold on until that governor's race is over in November.
They're afraid he's going to appoint a Democrat to replace Mitch McConnell, which will make it even worse for a majority until the next election. Yeah.
So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You know, I'd forgotten that. That's a great point. That is a great point. And I'll bet that's probably the only reason. Now, oh my God! Now all of a sudden, I'm feeling well. Now the man's making a sacrifice to keep the Republican Party in control. So now I feel bad about calling him a. Well, who knows? Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks, man. 344. Well, that kind of changes everything. I feel a little stupid right now. I don't know, Pete, what do you think? It sounds pretty reasonable to me that he's afraid to give up the post because they'll put a Democrat in there.
I've heard that before, and I think some states have it. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have heard it before, so it might
I remember hearing it, but now when he mentioned it, I said, oh my God, I remember that now that was an issue, but I'm not sure whether, I remember, wasn't the law unclear that the governor could appoint anybody he wanted? He could appoint his brother if he felt like it.
They already have control of the Senate, so what's the difference? One more?
Yeah, I mean, especially after a special election. But again, so that's not really the reason because we'd lose anyway, no matter what. For the next, I don't know how long what his term is up. Another couple of years, probably. Anyway,
and who knows? The governor could make a mistake like Brian Kemp did and put the chick in there.
Yeah. Kelly Longhair was a wonderful lady, but did not belong to be in the United States Senate, and it cost us a Senate seat in liberal Georgia. The blue state. All right, 345 coming up. Well, I want to react more to that Newsmax guy and Tucker Carlson on our formerly gay president. Standing by 3:45. Look out, here we go. right, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete and Flounder. And Steve Winwood on this day, 1986, went to number 1 in the U.S. singles chart with Higher Love. It was number 13 in Britain. That doesn't sound like him. Is this one of the fake YouTubers?
No, that's him.
That's him, okay. I love this guy. I loved his song. I loved, Don't You Know What the Night Means? Valerie, Finer Things, Back in the High Life, When You See a Chance. One after another. Steve Winwood, huge star. Really, a lot of his stuff on my Magic Stick, the music Magic Stick. Let's see. Yeah, we play a little more. Yeah, play a little. Yeah, I like it. Great beat. Boom, 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 bum, 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 bum. Great beats. And boom, make me a higher. Steve Winwood. Our birthday list includes the formerly luscious Cameron Diaz, 51 years old today. I think her face is kind of crinkling up, which is fine. Everything should happen to people as they get older. You'll let it happen, baby. And on this day in history, 1994, civil rights legend Rosa Parks was mugged in her own home by some drunk who broke in and stole $53 after hitting her. He blamed it on drugs. He was still in prison later when Rosa Parks passed away. This happened in 1994. Anyway, how's it going? Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and our Kimmer babe, Lori from Alabama's on the horn. Hello, Lori. Great to have you with us. What's going on? Oh, I got to wait for Flounder to get back there. Hold on a second. Here we go. Here's Lori on line 17. Hey, Lori, how's it going? What's up?
Hey, guys. How are you?
We're doing great, sweetie. What's happening with you today?
Well, I got a couple of things. First, on Mitch McConnell, yes, he should have been gone.
Yeah.
But they won't. They'll prop him up.
Yeah.
And just a puppet, like the puppets, you know.
But now, what if you were married to him, if you were his wife, and he's 81 years old?
That's right. You said it right, Cameron. We just celebrated our 44th anniversary.
Oh, God bless you.
The only one I've ever known. And that's the way I told my kids. We're on the backside of 60, and it's our time, and we're going to drink our drinks, and we're going to party on the weekends. And if I wake up in the morning and don't feel good, oh, well.
God bless
that's
you.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's time to spend it with your man.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think
you have one.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think that, people don't realize how I don't know special and treasured this is. I mean,
and another thing, you hope you like each other by then. You know, I've got family, they're older than me, and they hate each other.
I know.
I'm happy that we like each other.
Yeah,
you know,
it doesn't make any sense. Everything's backwards.
It is, but I know what you feel, Cameron, and I wish you had one to have with you. And you don't never know. One may come by.
No, don't worry. I'm a crybaby. I'm being a goof, and Pete's yelling at me, telling me to shut up and everything else. Everybody's turning on me. I'm going through a mental freaking crisis. Upending my life. Like I've never wished I'd never been born, and I'm getting through. Now it's done and forever, and they're just still attacking me because I'm finally getting rid of the venom that so everything's fine now. Anyway.
Pete, get off the camera's back.
No, it's fine.
Oh, that poor baby.
No, feel sorry for the Kimmer. That's better. That's a lot better.
But I'm telling you to get off my camera's back.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetie. You have a great. Be careful out there, Lori. Thanks. Okie dokie. 353. It really is amazing. I mean, I don't think most people, well, I don't know. I mean, I'll bet you guys never thought about the issue of, the man's 81. Time to, pack it in with your loving bride and live the rest of your life in happiness and peace. And, God bless America for giving you the opportunity. Instead of, this, how is it possible that your ego could be that strong?
It's just power. The power they do not want to let go of it. It's corrupt. They are corrupt in their soul because the power has gotten hold of them.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely, but again, it's even worse because he's not in control. I mean, if he were the leader of the Senate or if he were the president, I can see. But again, he lost. I mean, they lost control. So it would have been the perfect opportunity, seems to me, to change control of the party, to bring the younger men in, to start start over after they lost the election in 20. You know what? I mean, really, it would have been perfect to say, okay, great opportunity for new people and new blood, and we'll start over and get the party together. And instead of, we'll get the same old fart. Now he's having freaking mini strokes every couple of months. I mean, hell, he had July, and what's his August? So he has a stroke a month. Well, how many more do you think he's going to have? I think my mom had like 7 or 8, and then it was over. So I guess we should wait till maybe spring.
Maybe someone got him a stroke of the month club.
There you go. A shot of whiskey, and they mail you a bottle of wine and a stroke certificate from California.
A stick of fried butter.
Yeah, God, I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, I feel it's just, I can't, it's just horrible. And
if someone slips him a pint of Haagen-Dazs, it could be all over it.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi sent him over some of her $25 quart ice cream or something.
Ghirardelli.
And the other thing is, we played the soundbite of that guy, Greg Kelly's his name. I don't know anything about him. A host on Newsmax, and claims that he has come into the information that there is an audio recording which will prove President White Trash Joe, when he was vice president, is on a tape recording which will basically sink his presidency, if not get him impeached or in jail, and will make sure that he will not be running for president and may not even keep his job. That's what this guy, Greg Kelly, says. It'll be released. He's not sure how or where or what source, but it will be released between next week and Halloween. So we're talking September, October. And he says it'll be the ball game. He says that there's no way that Biden will survive it, and it's on tape and audio. Okay, 2 things. First of all, I hope this isn't another Sidney Powell, the lawyer, saying, I've seen the evidence and I've got the evidence. And we all kept saying, and here it is, or tomorrow, or, and let's go. You know what I mean? We kept saying, you say that, so where the hell is it? I want to see the people putting the phony number or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I want to see it. It never happened. So if this is another one of those things, if he's not 1,000% sure, his career is over, or ought to be. I mean, and by the way, I'm hoping. Sorry, I'm getting all choked up here. Sorry. Okay, I'm hoping that if this is real, that if what this guy says is real, that there are tape recordings, and we've heard this before. We heard it from a Ukrainian guy. In fact, we just heard the other day the Ukrainian prosecutor who got ousted because of Biden and the $1 billion bribe, basically, and extortion. He says it was he was part of the extortion and bribery. He can prove it. So that there, 1, 2. There's been talk for a long time about the tapes, and my hope is that if this is all real, that they have the audio and people know it's real, I can only hope that maybe finally somebody in the Republican Party said, okay, hold off a second. We have this stuff. It'll ruin them forever, but don't release it yet. Let's hold it till we need it, a better opportunity. They're doing all this stuff about Donald Trump and the arrests and the indictments and the mugshots and everything else. So we're going to wait to spring this on them this fall, right before the da-da-da-da-da. I'm hoping that maybe someone got smart in the Republican Party and said, let's be like the freaking Democrats. Let's hold it for a good reason. Let's be sneaky. Think about what the Democrats do, like that phony letter from Dianne Finkel-Cheatstein and everything else. Sneaky, devious, suspicious, cagey, ruthless, and relentless.
Well, first of all, maybe that was the plan until this guy just leaked it out in front of everybody. And secondly, they did something like this before. Remember, the New York Post came out with the Hunter Biden laptop. Yeah. And what did the media do?
Yeah, I know.
They buried it. What did the deep state do? They came up with lies from CIA agents. They made it Russian disinformation, and they quashed it right before the election. You got to get it out at least a little bit before the election to give it time to grow.
Yep. Well, we'll find out. And again, this better be real. To the phones. It's Walt on the radio with the Kimmer Pete and Flounder. Hey, Walt, you're on the air. What's going on, sir? Hell, welcome.
Heisenberg.
Hey, Kimmer, thanks. That Greg Kelly, I've been following him for a long time on Newsmax.
Uh-huh.
He's a former Marine fighter pilot.
Oh no, God bless him. I did not know that. Hoorah and Semper Fi to the man.
Yeah, he's a former Marine fighter pilot, and he's very credible, and I believe him. And
outstanding.
So we'll have to wait and see.
You know, in fact, when I went to my freshman year in college, we had ROTC and stuff, and I talked to the guy, he said, if I wanted to sign up for the Marine Corps platoon program, which means you sign the reserves while you're in school, and I said I wanted to be a fighter pilot. He took a Marine Corps fighter. He took a look at my eye chart 400 division eyeglasses, 2 inches thick like Coke bottles, and said, "Kid, you ain't going to be a fighter pilot in the Marines." Anyway, listen. Yes, sir.
I got a grandson. He's a Lance Corporal in Okinawa.
I'll be darned. We'll give him a big hoorah, Semper Fi, and God bless him for serving his country and keep the faith. Semper Fi, thank you, Walt. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Talk to any police call anytime. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. He's coming up on 4 o'clock. And coming up, Tucker Carlson on our formerly black gay president. And MSNBC doesn't like a certain word DeSantis says. And we're getting back at the Gadsden flag. Stand by, 4 o'clock. Look out, here we go. Oh, I was hoping you forgot to turn it up. For a blessed second, I thought, good, he forgot to play it. No, it's only me. It's only the giver with my buddy Rod. Rod Stewart, yeah, of course. In 1975, Rod Stewart had his 5th British #1 album when Atlantic Crossing started a 5-week run at the top of the charts. Stewart's new artistic direction, according to the title, Atlantic Crossing, on his departure to escape the 83% top rate of income tax introduced by British Labour Prime Minister Harold Wilson for the jet-set style lifestyle. So he left British territory because it was an 83% tax rate. Holy smokes. Rod Stewart with his 5th #1. Anyway, there you go. We're a little right.
They all did.
Yeah.
Everybody except McCartney. Almost everybody. The Lennon left. The Stones left. Everybody left.
Yeah. I can't really say you blame them.
Hey, you were talking about the Marines?
Yeah.
I saw something pretty funny yesterday. It's a sign someone posted outside of Paris.
I reacted
Island.
to it myself. Go ahead, tell them.
Welcome to Paris Island. We make Marines. Not as good as San Diego, but we try.
Yeah. You know what I replied? I replied, Hollywood Marines, ? I don't think so. That's what they call the guys who went to be in Marine Corps. And I assume it's, actually, I don't even know. I assume they still have the two training recruit depots were Paris Island, South Carolina, and basically the naval base, Marine Corps base in San Diego.
Beautiful, too.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. But the problem, it's not a problem, but the deal with, we used to call them Hollywood Marines, was because at San Diego there are officers and families all over the place, so nobody's going to mess with you. If you're at Paris Island, you're in a swamp. Nobody goes to Paris Island. You're not going to have people, stopping by to visit. You're not going to have a lot of officers and their families saying, "Gee, honey, look, I'm doing calisthenics over there." You see what I mean? So, I mean, you come back covered with swamp mud and snakes all over you and stuff.
Yeah, there's no alligators in San Diego.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of rattlesnakes. I mean, just for fun, they used to make you stand there at attention, swarmed with mosquitoes. And if you don't think, you don't think you learned how to, because if you move, they say you're dead. You like if you're on a patrol. Anyway, it's just, there's a big difference. But we used to make fun of the Hollywood Marines, we'd call them, because of that. Anyway, so somebody posted that sign as though they do tougher training at San Diego. I don't think so.
Jeez, the worst you have to deal with out there is a run of the Mexican brown trout.
Anyway, all right, look, it's only me, it's only the Kimmer, 406 with Pete Davis and Flounder, and love we've had a lot of phone calls, and because there's a lot of stuff going on, including, in fact, I'm going to skip ahead for a second here. Here's the phone number, first of all, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. If you put in your phone when you dial, when you get on hold, you can hear the show, and then Flounder will pick you up, and then we'll put you on a bing bang, you're all set to go. Now, I've got a lot more political stuff. In fact, we're going to hear from Tucker Carlson here in a second. But this story really, and also we got a couple of comedy bits too, and we have Pete's tweets and Skynet updates and things like that. And you'll hear from an impersonator doing her best, Carmela, Vice President's side piece, Shiftless and Lazy, coming up here shortly too. But this story really touched me. In fact, I heard about it the other day. There was a story that a young boy in Oklahoma had been dropped off at the wrong house after school. He was 5 years old and he was at the wrong house, and they finally got him home and so forth. When I heard that, I thought, oh man, that's horrible. That's just terrible. What a terrible story. But it didn't really particularly, touch me or scare me or make me emotional until today. And today I saw the video and heard the audio of the little boy being dropped off and looking for help. What happened is in Oklahoma, and Kelly Mulholland showed a clip of her son ringing the doorbell at a stranger's home because the bus driver dropped off her son at the wrong place, never went back to check, and the little boy starts wandering around wondering, where the heck am I and what do I do, until he goes to the house with a doorbell camera.
Would you help me find my mommy?
My literal worst nightmare happened yesterday. So the very first time of my 5-year-old kindergartner riding the school bus, and the bus driver did not follow procedures and lost my son. My boyfriend's daughter is also a 5-year-old kindergartner that was on the same bus that also was lost. Because obviously we live together. They're supposed to get off on the same stop. The school bus driver did not check the tags on their backpack versus the stop that they got off on, and did not even notice that they got off. When I went to pick them up, they weren't there. The bus was already over an hour late, which, whatever, it's the first week of school, happens. And it wasn't even the school bus driver that told me they got off on the last stop. There was an older kid on the bus that remembered seeing them get off on the last stop, and I was explaining like what they looked like, things like that. She said, oh, they got off on the last stop. So I'm frantically asking the school bus driver, where's the last stop? And he just kept pointing down the road, saying, down on the corner, down there. Could not tell me the names of the streets, could not tell me where he dropped them off at, and I am absolutely frantic. He has like an on his face, and that's it. Yeah. So I go back to my car to get my phone to call my boyfriend, and a car pulls up alongside of me and says, hey, are you looking for 2 kids?
Can you imagine?
Like, actually, a matter of fact, yes, I am. So he then tells me that he has a Ring doorbell, and on his way home from work, he got a notification that there was kids ringing the doorbell at his house trying to talk to him through the Ring doorbell. So he tells me his address. I run over there. They're not there. And him and a couple other neighbors are knocking on doors trying to help me find my kids. And at this point, Daddy is raising all sorts of hell at the school.
Well, again, Flounder, I'm going to put you through this. Play the beginning of that one more time, please.
Would you help me find my mommy?
I mean, holy cow.
They find the kids?
Yeah.
You're burying the lead here.
Yeah. Oh, they're fine. They found them a couple of houses down from the Ring camera. God.
I got to tell you, that Paris Island kindergarten is a tough school. They really make those kids toughen up.
I mean, when I saw that and heard that, and I thought, oh my God, my kids were 5 once. My 2 daughters were 5, and I just can't imagine the whole thing. And then there's one more while I'm on the subject, and this will close out this segment, and I'm going to wipe my freaking eyes. A Wisconsin police officer was called in Platteville, Wisconsin, saying there's a loose dog wandering around a campground, a park area. And so the police drove his squad car over there, cop drove his car over there, and all of a sudden, this sweet little dog jumped into the patrol car. Jumped right in the squad car, the cop says, and on this cute little dog's pink collar, was a handwritten note that said, please help, take me to a shelter, my name is Lola. Well, it's illegal to abandon animals in Platteville, Wisconsin, so they, of course, took care of the animal at a shelter, and there have been, I guess, hundreds or thousands of people wanting to adopt the little dog, but apparently I think a lot of reaction. Terrible people. If you can't handle owning a pet, don't get one, for God's sakes. Apparently, the dog, the owner said that he lost his home and couldn't take care of the dog, and he wanted somebody to save her or something. So, but geez, holy crap.
Yeah, in the future, you might want to separate stories like this. One end of the show and the other.
Well, it's over. I had to, I wanted to get it done because I'm sitting there bawling like a freaking little girl. I mean, pouring water out.
Oh, yeah,
of
I'm looking at you on YouTube right now.
I don't want to see
cry
my
baby.
YouTube. I'm a crybaby. And maybe from the very beginning of the show, this is finally the eruption of all done forever. Finally now, and everything will be fine starting today. Thank God. Anyways, we're going to do something else next. Coming. Oh, I know. Let's make fun of Putty Tat. We'll do the girl. We'll do the famous fake vice president side piece.
Do the girl, huh?
Next. That's what she said. Coming up next, 4:13 with a Kipper, Pete, and Flounder. Oh my God. 419 with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder.
Wait, man, think about the government. Look out, kid.
Bob Dylan, hit your harmonica. 1969, 2 weeks after Woodstock, the second Isle of Wight festival took place. Over 150,000 turned up over 2 days to see Bob Dylan, the band, Blodwyn Pig, is that right? Blodwyn Pig? I don't know that. Blonde on Blonde. Again, this is over in Britain. Bonzo Dog Doo-Dah Band. Bonzo Dog Doo-Dah Band. Edgar Broughton Band. Joe Cocker. Ainsley Dunbar. Family. Fat Mattress. Oh, they had Fat Mattress. Julie Felix. Free. Gypsy. Richie Havens. The Moody Blues. The Nice. Tom Paxson. Vanette that had petty things. And The Who. Tickets were $3. The 1969 White Festival. Celebrities who included Keith Richards, Charlie Watts, John and Yoko, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, Jane Fonda, Liz Taylor, and Richard Burton were there for the Isle of Wight Festival in 1969 to hear Bob Dylan do that. Anyway, now a quick birthday here. We got Warren Buffett. 93 today, the fifth richest person in the world, net worth $106 billion. Bernard Arnault is number one with $211 billion. Elon Musk number two with $180 billion. Jeff Bezos three with $114 billion. And Mr. Buffett apparently wants the government to tax him more and says, stop coddling the super rich. Hey, mind your own business. Well, what am I talking about? Like I've ever got to... Yeah, who do you think you are, you idiot? Let's see. Quick history note. 2003, Death Wish star Charles Bronson passed away from pneumonia. He was 81. And how can I turn this about me? Oh, I skied with him. I skied next to Charles Bronson at Aspen. Colorado one winter when I was single, and I had my girlfriend up there, and she had a friend. In fact, it was a commodities broker, and they were all high on cocaine all the time. This was back in the 80s when I was single, high on cocaine, and he had the ski chalet right on the mountain at Aspen. I mean, it was right there. It was beautiful. And there, in fact, somewhere, oh, God. So I just had a flashback. Somewhere there's a picture of the Kimmer without any clothes on in a hot tub doing something which was illegal at the time and accompanied. But anyway, that's floating around somewhere in the world. That was a long time. Anyway, Charles Bronson. Okay, so I'm back to move on to topics. Okay. All right, coming up, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to hear from Tucker Carlson, who talks about a couple things involving a possible third world war over a reason I'm not sure I understand, and also about Puditat, former President Barack Hussein Puditat, and how he's really gay, and everybody knows it, and it's not that big a deal. First of all, is Flounder, are you okay? Are we doing everything all right? Okay. Let's do the Tucker Carlson thing, and in a few minutes we'll do the funny Vice President fake lady too. Tucker Carlson here, he was on a podcast, and he mentioned a couple of different things here that we're going to talk about. One, he talked about Donald Trump possibly becoming assassinated if he becomes president. They don't want him to become president, and he also talked about Barack Obama and Ukraine and everything else. Here's part of Tucker Carlson's latest comment about, wait till you hear all this.
You know, in 2008, it became really clear that Barack Obama had been having sex with men and smoking crack. And a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, I'll sign an affidavit. And he did. I'll take a lie detector. And he did. I smoked crack with Barack Obama and had sex with him. Well, that was obviously true. Nobody reported it, not because they were squeamish about sex or drugs, but because the Obama campaign said anyone who reports on this gets no access to the Obama campaign. And so they didn't report on it. So that happens. That's just one small example, but that happens all the time with lots of different issues.
Tucker Carlson went on to say, this was on Adam Carolla's show, when asked if by the former Man Show host if they, quote, are going to let Donald Trump be president, Carlson said, no, of course. I mean, look, if they know they protested him, they called him names, he won anyway, they impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses, they fabricated a lot about what happened in order to impeach him again. And then Tucker Carlson predicted that Donald Trump will get assassinated if he becomes president. Quote, if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment. Now you go to indictment, and none of them work. What's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that. But I don't know how you can't reach that conclusion. You know what it's been like. They have decided permanent Washington. Both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have it.
Well, they killed JFK.
It's been done before.
Yeah.
In fact, I even hate talking about this because I don't want people to think, bye, sweetie. Bye. I don't want people to think, that's Amanda, that we're encouraging it, or now they go, those white supremacists on the radio again. You know what I mean? It has nothing, ladies and gentlemen, for the record, it has nothing to do with it. It just occurred to me, I've never even thought about that. I never in my wildest dreams until this second actually thought that if Donald Trump is elected again, that they'll kill him.
Oh, I'm surprised that someone didn't try and get him during the campaign the last time, to tell you the truth.
But see, because it's so public and it's so, there were so many things exploding all over the place that nobody needed to kill him. He was in nothing but big trouble and turmoil the whole time. Why kill him? They were having fun making fun of him and making his life miserable. So to me, I never thought about that because they were having fun watching him in agony. I mean, how'd you like to be Donald Trump? My God, they raided your place in Mar-a-Lago with the helicopters and gunships and boat ships with machine gun. I mean, my God. Impeached him twice, arrested him 4 times, 91 felony counts. How'd you like to be Donald Trump? They don't need to kill him. They say his rights are already in turmoil. But again, until this second, when I read those comments from Tucker Carlson, I'll bet you there are people in the left of this country who will kill him or want to or try to. That's really scary. You know what? Let's think about what happens if they do or try. Let's say that, God forbid they miss. Let's say someone tries to assassinate. If Donald Trump's elected again and someone tries to assassinate him, Pete, what do you think will happen to the members of the American population who pretty much have had it up to here?
Well, nothing, because we haven't done anything yet.
Well, I mean, if they take a shot at him and grazes blonde Goldilocks or something and he lives.
No, I wouldn't get too graphic with it. But
well, I'm saying, but you don't think people will react to it?
If it gets to the point where they do something like that, I think there'll be some trouble. The problem is the trouble usually is coming from the left. And they want us to do something because then they can send the military out to crack down on us. They want this whole talk about white supremacy. By the way, let's go on record right now. Yeah. I don't believe that my white race is superior to other races. You know why? I've been in enough NFL locker rooms. We are not superior.
If you take a lot of showers with black guys, pretty much you're not going to have a real issue with certain,
I'm telling you. You're an idiot if you think we're superior.
What flower?
No, I got a tweet from some buddies the other day. It says, legal gun owners have almost 400 million guns in the United States, with likely over 25 trillion rounds of ammo. If law-abiding gun owners were the problem, you'd know it.
Exactly. I mean, think about this. Yeah. We are the largest standing militia in the world. Yeah. All the armies of the world, including China's combined, do not equal the amount of United States citizens that can wield a firearm.
That's right. That's right. And loan some to our neighbors who haven't become equipped yet. I think y'all know where to come in my neighborhood if they start coming over the hills. Anyway, so 428. I mean, honestly, God, I can't believe it. I just can't believe any of this. I can't believe what they've done to him. And I'm not a Trump guy. I mean, I'm voting for him, and I'm total Trump presidential supporter. But he's not my kind of guy. He's not a guy I'd hang around with or want to play golf with. So what? That's not it. My God, the issue is who's doing what for your country? Anyway, and now and Ron DeSantis is now getting ripped for his language. MSNBC, there's some dipwad named Trymaine Lee who was on MSNBC with Andrea Mitchell, and he complained about Governor Ron DeSantis referring to the Jacksonville racist shooter, called him a scumbag. And so now this figures. Here's what they're now saying. Well, for so many, this is a liberal on MSNBC. For so many folks, the issue with that kind of language is places the onus on one individual and the actions of one individual, as opposed to a nationwide sickness of white supremacy in the country and the violence it fuels. So as long as he is just a scumbag, or as long as there's a mental health issue, you don't have to engage with the idea that there are, co-conspirators online, co-conspirators who create legislation that divide other people. Shooting racially motivated manifestos, he's saying if you just make it about one guy, then you forget to mention about white supremacy all over the place.
Yeah, trying to control your words. Like the Chicago mayor saying you can't say mob.
Yeah.
They try and control your freedom of speech by controlling the narrative.
And now,
don't do it.
And now you're a racist if you call him a scumbag because you're eliminating the possibility that we're all a bunch of white supremacists.
Fine, I don't care
kiss
what
my
you call
ass. How about jump off a bridge?
Why do we care so much what other idiots think?
I know. It's out there. It's important you know about it. 4:30. Don't go anywhere. Look out. Yada too, unfortunately. Let's see. Hold everything here. Quick birthday of note. Actor Michael Chiklis. 60 today. Detective Vic Mackey, Mackey, I think it is. I don't know. I didn't watch The Shield.
That is a very good show.
Everybody in the world said it was one of the greatest shows on TV, and I don't know why I never saw it. I might have been on against something else, and I didn't have a DVR at the time. I don't know. That was back in. Was that in the 80s? That had to be
early
like 90.
2000s.
Was it?
Yeah,
20 years
2000s.
ago? Anyway, The Shield. Also, The Thing in the preschool Fantastic Four movies. He was Michael Chiklis, a father with super strength on No Ordinary Family. And Del the Strongman on American Horror Story Freak Show. Michael Chiklis is 60. And a quick historical note. 1993, 23 million homes tuned in for the CBS debut of The Late Show with David Letterman. Less than half that many people tuned in to The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Billy Joel was David Letterman's first musical guest. I always liked David Letterman. I always thought he had that, at least in the beginning, I don't know, I didn't watch him at the end, but he always had that really cool, dry sense of humor and sarcastic, and he was a weatherman in Indianapolis, and that's how he got his job. He had that sarcastic shtick going, and the local TV station hired him as a weatherman. He was a goofy-doofy weatherman, and then he became a big, huge star. Anyway, let's see, 404-741-1230, 741-1230, the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. By the way, which one of you bastards signed me up for the Selena Gomez Bare Feet website? Do you have those on your phone?
No.
No.
I swear to God. Well, I'll talk about I mean, I swear somebody, I'll bet it was the Rhino. Has he got a foot thing? I'll bet the Rhino has a foot thing. I'll bet he's somehow, for some reason, was that a phone call? No, okay. But for some reason, sorry, I lost my head. For some reason, I every once in a while, I open my phone and I'll be, boom, a picture of Selena Gomez barefoot. Or follow Selena Gomez. And anyway, there's more, there's something else that's going on that is something, somebody's did something to me and I don't understand it.
I have an idea.
What's that?
Let's talk about the Gadsden flag.
Well, I've got it right here. In fact, going viral, the Colorado Springs school situation. Here's the deal. The video spread all over the place after the administrator has now said, well, hold on a second. I think we screwed up. We're going to walk back that idiot decision. The school is called Vanguard. And what happened was this little boy, excuse me, this little boy came to school with his backpack, and it had the Gadsden flag on it, which is a symbol of the Revolutionary War against Britain and not the Confederacy, which they're finally understanding. It's the Don't Tread on Me. The flag was designed in 1775, called the Gadsden flag, during the American Revolution, featuring a rattlesnake and a yellow backdrop with the words, Don't Tread on Me. Well, that student brought that backpack to school, and he was told that he could not. He was kicked out and was told he could not come back unless he left his backpack, which had the Gadsden flag patch on it. His mother said, "Oh, I don't think so," and so the school's board of directors called an emergency meeting and now has walked back that stupid decision. Quote, from Vanguard's founding, we have proudly supported our Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and an ordered liberty that all Americans have enjoyed for almost 250 years. The Vanguard School recognizes the historical significance of the Gadsden flag and its place in history. The incident is an occasion for us to reaffirm our deep commitment to a classical education in support of these American principles. The term Gadsden flag trending X on a video spread of the social media platform known as Twitter, 5 million views. And the assistant principal, Beth, a girl, Danjuma, said the reason we do not want the flag displayed is due to its origins with slavery and the slave trade. Well, when the mother said, it's the Revolutionary War, you dingbat. She said, I'm here to enforce the policy that was provided by the district, and definitely you have every right not to agree to it. Vanguard is a public charter school. There's been a national media attention on our charter school, and one person said, now hold everything, there's a little more to the story. The patch in question of this little boy's backpack was actually part of half a dozen other patches, including some of semi-automatic weapons. The student has since removed the semi-automatic weapons patches and returned to class without incident. They reviewed the patches last week and told his mother that the Gadsden patch had to go too because of their policy. And the kid went back to school with a patch on it, and they sent him back home again until they finally really had the emergency meeting and then said, well, hold on a second. By the way, they do allow, somebody was saying they allow other kinds of patches, and kids have LGBT freaking flags on their backpacks. They have major political parties on their backpacks. They can have damn near anything else on their backpack, but for God's sakes, don't tread on me. And the picture of a gun to support the Second Amendment, ooh, that doesn't count.
What have I been saying for the last 30 years? That these teachers are subverting your kids to hate everything about American history, American culture, everything about America. They're being taught to hate.
Yeah.
And it's all because of slavery and all this other stuff, this crap that's going on. Did you see the photo of the kid when he went out in the parking lot?
No.
He was standing in front of one of the teacher's cars, and on the back of the car was every liberal bumper sticker you could think of.
Yeah. I voted for Hillary or whatever. Yeah, all those. Yeah. And by the way, in Colorado, again, this was Colorado Springs, also in Colorado a couple years ago in Denver, a post guy, maintenance worker, filed a complaint with the EEOC because the guy had a Gadsden flag on a hat. And he said, the Gadsden flag is an historical indicator of white supremacy, resentment against black people, largely from the Tea Party. And the EEOC had to say, no, you idiot. It's the Gadsden flag from the Revolutionary War. It's got nothing to do with freaking race. But again, this is a school system thing. And we have one more related school to check this. Have you heard about this? Landmark victory for parental rights in a California school district where an 11-year-old girl in Monterey County was being transitioned to become a boy by the school without her parents' knowledge. Here's what happened. The mother finally found out and sued and won. Jessica Conan says her 11-year-old daughter, Alicia, was told by her school in the Speckles Union School District, Monterey, California. The school told the 11-year-old daughter that she may be upset these days because she didn't really know whether she was truly herself inside. The school allowed her to use the boys' bathroom, used male pronouns to refer to her, and was socially transitioning her away from her biological gender as a girl. Once the mother found out her daughter was being identified as a male and socially transitioning without her knowledge, she sued and won. She only won $100,000. It ought to be $20 million. The daughter has since decided to re-identify as a girl again. The mother said, we've got to keep fighting for parental rights. These teachers need to understand their place. They need to stay in their place. And schools nowadays, they're awful. I'm going to fight this fight and keep fighting this fight, not allow this to happen to our children. The district is not admitting fault, but says, there's a big debate now over parental rights, regarding decisions that affect the children. At the core is a case about upholding the sacred bond between parents and their children. And mother said she avoided pronouns, and now she was afraid to call her daughter a girl. So she called her daughter sweetie and kiddo instead of the, stuff. She's afraid of being offensive during this time. Finally, their relationship was strange. Now it's doing great. They're working together to remove parental secrecy together out of schools. Well, God bless America. Come on, you people in the school districts. What's going on with you?
We're watching.
God, something funny coming up next, I promise. 4:45 already. Holy cow. Look out. Here we go. Stand by. Bum, bum. Now, did you jump ahead of me, or is this in fact?
Well, what? Yeah, I thought this was the order.
Yeah, I got the birds next.
Did I get those mixed up?
Hank Williams.
Yeah, you're right. I did.
I called an audible. I was thinking, well, here's what. This is funny. By the way, it's 4:49. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and the Flounder's got a music list. We go down here once in a while. We get a little mix up. But here's what my next music I had on the list was the Byrds, and I know this didn't sound like the Byrds from the '60s rock group, but here's the thing: the first line of the Byrds said, "The American band released their 6th album, Sweetheart of the Rodeo." So I thought, oh my God, the Byrds are doing a country western song. And in fact, it actually is Hank Williams, because we skipped ahead on the list. 1949, Hank Williams went to the Herzog studio in Cincinnati, to record I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. Hank Williams wrote the song originally intending the words be spoken rather than sung. The song about loneliness was largely inspired by his troubled relationship with his with his wife Audrey Shepard, Pigner. Anyway, so that's Hank Williams. So we still have the Byrds coming up. We can still do the Byrds later. Quick birthday or two here. Let's have a quick. Who was that? Oh, Louis Black. Speaking of actors earlier, Louis Black is 75. Furious comic who got huge as a Daily Show contributor. In fact, I wonder if I don't think I've heard from him, Louis Black in a long. I guess he's probably long retired, 75. But he was, I guess I called that angry comedian. You'd recognize his voice if you didn't know him and see him. 75, happy birthday. And on this day in history, 1963, you'd think it'd been done long before this. 1963, the hotline went online. The hotline communication between Washington, D.C. and Moscow went into operation 24 hours a day, every second. You'd think that was 1963. How is it possible they weren't worried about nuclear war and somebody making a stupid decision long before that?
Well, and the bad thing is the first 5 months it was on, it went right to Commissioner Gordon's office.
Yeah, it's incredible. Batman. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. Coming up, have you heard that now there's Twitter's exploding about how racist Lake Lanier is? I swear to God. I'll show you in a minute. Also, there's something going on with this whole feet thing. I don't get it, and I don't know. Somebody's pulling a joke on me or something. But first, two things. Before I forget, we're going to do the vice presidential a fake lady here in a second. Just a little make you laugh a little bit. But also, okay. Not long ago, they played the promo where Pete was doing his sportscast some weeks ago, and I started adjusting myself in the background. And the reason was I've actually lost another 2 pounds. I mean, I'm like 5th grade weight now. Anyway, so my underwear is too big. My underpants are too big, and so somebody had to be a girl. I know I got to know who it is, but obviously a girl. I can't imagine some guy sending me underpants because I don't use it. I'm not going to Amazon, and they're not in the store until I go up to the mall place. Anyway, so somebody sent me a pair, a 3-thing of jockey pouch underpants, but they were size medium, and they're just really a little too tight. Yesterday, I get home last night, 7 o'clock last night, I get home, and outside of my garage door is another pack of underpants. Another 3-some of jockey pouch underpants. Only these are a large, like waist 34 or something, and they're perfect. They're great. I mean, they're white. I buy all colored ones for obvious reasons, but they're beautiful whitey tidies. White is anyway. But I'm so grateful and so thrilled. But I don't know. I know who it is. Got to be a certain lady. I know who it is. I can't imagine a guy sending me underwear. But again, thank you. They're great. I love them. And since they're white, I know I can pick them out of my underwear drawer because they stand out against all the blue and black ones. So now I'm happy with my fitting underwear, and I'll be happy as a clam. Anyway, thank you. And don't send me stuff. I feel way too guilty about it.
So what you're saying is when I'm in there tomorrow doing my sports, I will be safe from you sticking your hands down.
I'm wearing, as we speak, I'm wearing my tie. In fact, I can stand up right now. I can show you.
I'm not looking at you.
Okay. Anyway, and tomorrow I'll be wearing my 3rd pair, and I will have that, and I'll be wearing my fresh whitey-tidy jockey underpants.
Feel free not to show me.
No, I will not show anybody anything. You take take my word for it. Now, having a little fun. 4:33, and there are memes going around and stuff, and we talk about politics. And again, if you haven't heard the latest on Mitch McConnell, again had a little mini stroke going on. We'll play that for you. Got all kinds of good stuff. We'll hear from a little more political stuff after the 5 o'clock top of the hour. But here is a lady, and I forgot her name. I wrote it down. Damn it, I can't remember her name. Flounder, I've got it somewhere.
Elsa Kirk.
Elsa Kirk, and she is now, for your entertainment and enjoyment, she is now Vice President Kamala Side-Piece, the lazy, shiftless Vice President of the United States, as if she were applying for a job.
The things that make me qualified for the job are the things that I have done in my past and the things that I continue to do today. Okay? And these are skills that I have acquired by gaining skills to do the job and be qualified.
Do you have any idea what you're interviewing for?
Okay, well, full stop. Okay. I don't even know what the job is.
Just for the fun of it. I mean, and again, I can't believe it's going to happen that President White Trash, President Joseph Nostra, will actually be on the ticket to run again for president. But if he is, you're voting for Kamala Side-Piece. You can't possibly tell me that anybody in their right mind would say, boy, you know who the next president really ought to be is that Carmela girl. You know, she's so sharp. She's really got it on the ball. She's a shiftless, lazy loser. The border czar? Yeah, 5 million people came over. Good work. Really took care of that issue. Hey, I know how we can solve the problem. Let's just pretend they're all refugees from Nazi Germany. There you go. You're all in free. Now, all in free. We just changed the designation and label them something else. Refugees. Now you can come in? Oh, my God. And they're getting away with it. Oh, let me quickly, this Lake Lanier thing before it did. This is I just came across this for some reason.
Some of Veronica and her friends won't swim in Lake Lanier.
Well, I wouldn't swim in there again because I used to be up there. We were in Lake Allatoona with Wade, no offense, and then went to Lake Lanier. Anyway, Lake Lanier said here, one of the dozens U.S. lakes that racist white mobs created to flood the black towns like Oscarville, Georgia, that lie beneath them. Which is true, by the way. Lake Lanier is also one of the bodies of water legends say is haunted by our ancestors as many people drown in the waters. A 23-year-old guy named Edgar Martinez died swimming in Lake Lanier over the weekend, went under, and never came back. People saying stop going to Lake Lanier. Don't even look at Lake Lanier. If someone invites you to go and do anything at Lake Lanier, block their numbers. Stop being friends with them because they're trying to get you out of here. Stop swimming in Lake Lanier. 7th drowning this year. Stop swimming over an entire town cemetery and people will be okay. If people knew the history of Lake Lanier, nobody would even want to be on it. There's nothing that's not racial about Lake Lanier.
There isn't a man-made lake in America has flooded some town or something. How do they explain when black people drown?
There's nothing that's not racial about Lake Lanier. The black town of Oscarville lies at the bottom. It was destroyed and flooded by white supremacists committing yet another massacre. It's not race bait, but people who swim there might become fish bait. Add it to your list of black massacres. Infamous body of water claiming the lives of many unsuspecting victims. Anyway.
Well, quit using the water then.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, please. Everybody has to have something. I mean, all of a sudden, this is now on Twitter. Or do I have to say
no,
X?
These are idiots on Twitter.
Well,
I
know.
Twitter.
It's just freaking unbelievable. Anyway, now where were we? Quickly, before we go, the Delta flight from Milan to Atlanta hit the violent patch of air 40 miles northeast of Hartsfield. And I guess they went flying. And now I don't understand what the injury. They must have been seatbelted. Were they all not in their seatbelts? They should have been in their seatbelts 40 miles out.
I told Delta not to install that bouncy castle in the plane.
The bouncy house interior cabin had 151 passengers, 10 crew members, 4 pilots, and 11 of them, including crew members, were hurt, had to go to the hospital.
pilot people were hurt?
Pilot people. Well, what do you can't even call them steward eye anymore. You know, you get in trouble with that thing. Or crew members. Probably, can't use member because that's too much like a male who wants to be a girl. I don't know.
Alan just called in and he said there is a 99% way not to drown, and that's to wear a life vest.
That's right. When I was boating, I always had one either on or on one arm or right next to the wheel or something. So if anything happened, I was right there.
If you put it on upside down.
Oh, well, I think you can figure it out. And also, and by the way, I also we had like a 30-foot boat with passenger speedboat thing, and we used to have them all over the place, just laying right there in case the boat flipped. There'd be in the water with you. So I mean, I think I had like 25 life preservers. Never had more than 3 people on the thing. And
that was when neither one of my parents could swim, and we were kids. They took us over to, my mother did, the first summer we moved here. It was over at Midway, over by the old Avondale Mall, the Columbia Mall, and basically they threw us in there and said, "You're going to learn to swim."
Oh my God. They weren't trying to teach you to swim.
Just to sing.
Hey, I got a deal, honey. We got one too many kids. No, that's wrong. I'm so sorry. Your parents didn't know how to swim, so they threw you overboard hoping you'd learn?
They took us in there, and they said, "Teach these kids to swim." And the
I was going to say. I thought you meant they threw you overboard and said, "Hope you can learn," because we never did. Oh, my God. All right, it's 5 o'clock. Holy crap, and sports is coming up, and Skynet and tweets, and we got it all. Look out. Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder, right a blank. Ready on your dog target. Road guards out. Look out. It's only me. It's only the giver. By the way, we're going to play the full Mitch McConnell soundbite coming up for you. They cut it off, and you need to hear the whole thing because this is serious. Anyway, great to have you aboard. 504, let's call it, on 106.3. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis and Flounder, the mechanical mangler at the controls. Here's a phone number. We've had a lot of phone calls today. I'm really encouraged by this. I really think because there's a lot of things going on, and I love to hear your voices. I love to hear. I don't want. I'm not a lecturer, and Pete and I don't want to sit here and talk the whole time. Here's a number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. And again, I appreciate it because I know it's hard to doing stuff and actually using your phone. No, it's amazing. I mean, people go through all the trouble of texting with the little finger, the thumb things, and all the digital stuff. Instead of picking up and say, hey, how you doing? I'll be home at 9. Boom. And see, you don't use your phone as a phone. I just get the biggest kick out of that. And I guarantee you, I'll bet you 80% of the people listening right this second haven't actually used their phone as a phone for days. Maybe weeks. Anyway, how you doing? It's great to have you aboard. It looks like it's turned to be a beautiful day, and I think they've changed the weather. I haven't seen the latest weather forecast, but I don't think we're going to get pounded. I thought we were originally going to get pounded.
You looking to get pounded tonight, Kimmer?
That's what she said. But I think it might have changed, and I think we're probably going to escape the most of it. It seems like it. Otherwise, it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day all of a sudden.
We've had enough rain the last 2 days.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have to water my flowers anymore with my hose from downstairs. So many things going on here. Sorry. Well, I'm considerate of the neighbors. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, let's play. We got Holy Crap of Sports coming a little bit. Let's play the Mitch McConnell bit. Again, happened again today. We'll play, in a minute, we'll play what happened in July, if you're just joining us. Mitch McConnell today, happened the second time, happened today, the Kentucky Republican senator, leader of the Republicans and the minority in the Senate, froze at, once again, a news conference talking about re-election, and all of a sudden, this happened today.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Thank you.
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Yeah. And again, that was today. And then when he came back, he brushed off the question because he doesn't engage in Trump-related topics or something, and then he left. He had spoken for 20 minutes before that happened. But again, let's play, Flounder, if you play the second one, you have the one from back in, this was 1 month ago, the same thing happened, and this was what happened in July.
After finishing the NDA this week, has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Are you good, Mitch?
Okay, Mitch. Anything else you want to say? Or should we just go back to you?
So this is we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the IRA.
Yeah, and off he goes. These are TIAs. They're mini strokes. That my mother had 7 or 8 of them before she passed away. And when they just kind of disappear. And everybody knows it. And in fact, I forgot the exact words I said weeks ago when we talked. Well, I said it back in July when this happened the first time, and I said this is a TIA, and I actually remember what the word stood for, transitional something or other, whatever. And it's a mini stroke. And I've had callers earlier today, in case you weren't listening earlier, said same thing happened. Guy happened to his father. I mean, I can't believe that they were not doing something about this. This is now every month.
Who's going to do anything? He's the leader. Who's going to touch him? The Republicans have no balls.
Yeah, and again, we had a caller who made the point that Kentucky was afraid that, or the Republicans are afraid that in Kentucky, the governor would have the power to appoint a Democrat to fulfill his term if he resigns. So he's trying to hold on for another 3 years. My bet he's going to die in office. He's 81.
They won't tell us.
He's 81, and he's having mini strokes once a month. 81 years old. And obviously his wife is encouraging him to stay in office instead of saying, honey, let's freaking retire. What the hell are you doing? What do you need to prove?
Maybe he's like the woman on the plane. He's seeing somebody in the back of the room that's like a lizard, and only he can see it's a lizard person.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. Here's we have a phone call. Scotty, the window guy. Hey, Scotty, how's it going, man? What's up? Hello.
Welcome home, Semper Fi, brother.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, my brother?
Hello.
Hello.
It's your turn now.
You there?
Yeah, we're on. It's your turn. Hello. Hello.
Welcome home, brother.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey, what's the difference in McConnell doing it twice and Biden does it every day?
Yeah, another good point.
You know what I mean? It's a double-edged sword there. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I agree with you. But Biden does it every day, and the Democrats defend it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, Scotty, you're right, man. Great call, great observation. Absolutely. Nancy Pelosi's the same way. Dianne Feinstein had to have her daughter act as her attorney of record, which means, I guess, that she's not allowed to vote for anything anymore. Has to have the daughter do it for her because she's no longer legally responsible for herself.
Let's face it, we're ruled by a corrupt cabal that refuses to let go of power, and they're taking us down with them.
It's just astounding.
Both parties.
Both parties. Both parties.
No
the swamp.
in charge.
I mean, it's the swamp. It's the swamp. They can't stop. There has, and this is why Vivek guy says, he said, we're going to do term limits. Ball game. If I'm president, we're doing term limits. Of course, you're going to have to get passed, and that's never going to happen because they don't want to lose their job. But again, you would think, and I mentioned earlier, and again, it's just anybody in my age bracket who's single, I guarantee you is now saying, man, if I were happily married and that age and had the opportunity to was successful and wealthy and respectable and had everything proven and was all done with everything you could possibly accomplish in life, let it go. Retire with your loving bride and live out the rest of your life in comfort and peace and looking at sunsets and having whatever you want to have for breakfast at noon if you feel like it.
Man.
Jesus.
You wouldn't give up the power.
I know,
they
but
don't want to give it up.
I know, but I'm saying, but people like me are saying, you freaking idiots. We got to take it away from them. They don't know any better. How could you give up the opportunity to do that for a living instead of doing what we ought to be doing for a living at that age, in the last stages of your life? I mean, this is appalling. I mean, it's just. God, I can't believe it.
It's an ego thing, too.
It's
you mentioned
all
it
ego.
earlier. No one can do the job that I do.
Yeah, he doesn't want somebody else to do what he should be doing, and he has to round out the string or something. And so, I mean, there's no end to it. Government goes forever until we end it, and then there's another one. So it's not like there's an ending to his job. I mean, what's he waiting for? The final what? The final bill? The final legal thing? I mean, there's no
final countdown.
Yeah, I mean, but there isn't one. What is it? Anyway, all right, 512. Let's do this real quick, Flounder. If you can get back to the phone, let's do this guy, Newsmax guy, Craig Kelly, former Marine Corps fighter pilot, I just found out, a host on Newsmax, and says there's an audio recording that's going to bring down President White Trash. Let's play that one right here.
There is an audio tape, I am told, by people in the know, not necessarily in government, not necessarily out of government. I can't say too much, but there is incontrovertible evidence of Joe Biden's corruption that is about to be made public. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen before Labor Day, but it will happen sometime between Labor Day and Halloween. This tape will be made public. I'm not sure by what entity at this point, but once it is heard, Joe Biden will have, well, he'll have only two options. Number one, he will not be able to remain a candidate for the presidency for re-election. It will be over and done with. The only thing that he might be able to do, potentially, but probably not, is remain as president. I am told this tape is that incriminating, and they're worried about it right now at the White House. They know about it. They know it's out there. There may be more than one, and it makes a lot of sense.
Well, I hope you're not making that up. If you're lying to us like Sidney Powell was when she said, I've got all the evidence on the fixed election, and they never came up with it, there's going to be... Yeah.
You say something like that, your job should be on the line if it doesn't come true.
Absolutely. But he's a Marine fighter pilot, so I believe him. He believes it is true, so that's good enough for me. And I can't wait for it to come out. 5:13, Holy Crap of Sports is next with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Look out. Crap! It's sports with Pete Davis.
I think Andy was the last American man to win anything.
You could be right there. I'm trying to remember.
That was about 20 years ago. It's pretty well.
That's right.
The Braves pound out 15 hits and only scored 3 runs, but it was enough to beat the Rockies 3-1 behind another great starting performance by Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
Fine work by the bullpen as well. Morton surrendered just 1 run, scattered 3 hits, struck out 8 over 6 innings, marking just the 5th time a pitcher aged 39 years or older has allowed 1 run or less, 3 hits or less over at least 6 innings at Coors Field. The others there's 3 of them. 2 of them played for the Braves.
Well, I'll bet it was our banker with the glasses guy who played all the tricks on the players.
Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux. I was getting to it if I could get there. All right, pain in the ass. It takes me a minute.
Maddox did it. Okay, Mitch. But Maddox...
yeah, you can all eat me. How about that?
Maddox did it as a Dodger and a Padre. He did not do it in a Braves uniform, but who was the Brave who did it?
Probably the knuckleballer, I'll bet you, Phil Niekro.
Phil Niekro did not play when Coors Field or the Rockies even existed.
Oh, so we're talking about the 90s?
But he did play in the American League a bit.
Very funny.
Was it in the 90s or 2000s?
Well, Steve Avery. I don't know, Steve Avery.
Close. It's Tom Glavine.
Tom Glavine. Well, I was going to go lefty. I was going to go next lefty.
That's
there
right.
you go.
And the other guy was Randy Johnson. So
oh, well, there. The big non-talker.
The big unit. In Charlie's last 4 starts, he's pitched 24 innings with only 1 run allowed and 33 strikeouts.
You know, it's amazing because when I watch him pitch, he doesn't look like a power pitcher. He doesn't look like a trickster. But for some reason, he has that final herky-jerky motion.
Yeah,
and he's
curveball, man.
It's unbelievable. And I guess it must be so hard. I'd love to see it as a batter. I'd love to see his, the way, because it must look funny coming in there. Very, very interesting motion on it. Good, great pitcher, that age especially.
The Braves can mark 1 full game without Colorado security failing miserably protecting the players. Marcell Ozuna continued his hot streak.
Yeah. He's right in the back. Hold on. The hot streak was Marcell.
1-1 pitch on the way. And Ozuna clubs one to deep right field, heading back there towards the wall. Out of the ballpark. Marcell Ozuna with power the opposite way. That one flying over that yellow stripe on top of the visitor scoreboard.
Ben Ingram of 680 The Fan.
Yeah.
You know, what concerns me is we literally, right before he turned my mic on, said, hey,
you just want that Ozuna
cut? Well, he's a busy man. Well, it's a big studio. He's got a busy, he has to run back and forth, and it's a nightmare. So anyway.
I think you're a carrier, Kimmer.
It's possible I could be. It's very possible.
The Bravos go for the sweep tonight in Denver with rookie Darius Vines making his major league debut for Atlanta. So
really, now, do you know anything about him? I don't know that name at all.
I thought he was a lefty. I think he's a lefty. I'm not sure. And he had an ERA under 3 at Gwinnett. So I think
Did we see him at Rome? I wonder a couple of years ago.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if he was there or not.
I'll look forward to seeing TV tonight. Is it a late game or like a 7:00 game?
I think it's a 7 o'clock game, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, somewhere around there, I think.
Hope so.
They start a 4-game set in Los Angeles with the Dodgers tomorrow, and the biased media is now pushing for Mookie Betts to be the National League most valuable player.
Oh, sure.
Because he's on a hot month or two. They hate the Braves. It's honestly, they hate the Braves. And despite Ronald Acuna Jr. having a better season, in my opinion, after Ronald's historic night and Mookie went 0 for 5, they still came on the next day. Well, Mookie Betts, man, he should be the MVP on that.
Anti-Atlanta.
And worse than that, the MLB Network, the official mouthpiece of Major League Baseball, completely ignored Acuna being attacked Monday night in Denver on their TV show High Heat. I always watch that. And I watch it for Chris Russo. Unfortunately, Russo wasn't there, so they had the chick on there. And if she mentioned it in passing. I was
How could they not show every second of what happened out there and have people talking about it, including him?
Well, obviously that show doesn't want people to think about it.
Holy criminy.
Yeah.
That was a news event. That wasn't just a sports highlight. That was a major news event.
Now, if that had been Aaron Judge and somebody had jumped and run to a Yankee, what do you think would have happened?
Oh, man.
Rob Manfred, man. That's what happens when idiots like that run things. Now, the other network shows could have mentioned it, but I watched that whole show, and if she mentioned it, she said one line on it and kept moving.
No, that was a major story.
Check out the roster names of Acuna that he has joined now that he has 20 homers and 60 stolen bases, almost 30 homers. Joe Morgan, who did this twice, Eric Davis, and Ricky Henderson, who did it 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. On this day, August 30th, 1975, the Braves fired manager Clyde King and replaced him with Connie Ryan. The Angels placed several big names on waivers, meaning other teams can trade for them, including pitcher Lucas Giolito and outfielders Randall Grichuk and Hunter Renfroe. Hunter reminds me of Adam Duvall, hint, hint. I'd love to see that guy. He always hit the Braves well.
Cool.
And the Yankees did the same to center fielder Harrison Bader, who's also a good player, has injury problems, but those guys can help.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
That's right.
But, the Braves are last to pick the waiver line, so they probably won't be there. Star Utah quarterback Cam Rising is doubtful for tomorrow's game against the Gators. He is not expected to play. He's coming back from an ACL injury suffered in the Rose Bowl game. So if you bettors out there have a little money on that, you might want to think about that. Former UGA tight end Eric Gilbert facing a burglary charge following an overnight incident in Nebraska. Gilbert arrested outside of SJ's Liquor and Vape Shop in Lincoln.
Hell yeah, I heard.
Apprehended by officers, he had a bag that contained $1,600 in vape products, cigars, and lighters. Also, he broke a glass door, allegedly, with a cement chunk. Gilbert, a former 5-star tight end recruit from Marietta, began his career at LSU, was pretty good there. Then he had trouble, so he went to Georgia, had trouble. Then he went committed to Florida. They didn't want him or something happened there. And now he was waiting for the NCAA about eligibility status for 2023. So let me help you with that, Eric. You are not going to be eligible for 2023 or likely any other year. But hey, a man's got to have a hobby to while away his time, right?
Unbelievable. But throwing away, just wasted
there's
talent.
Something wrong there.
Yeah,
there's
he's screwed up.
There.
Look at the fan. Got to look at the family. Anyway, sorry.
I don't know about the family. Dana Holgerson enters the season in his 5th year, leading Houston. It's the first year the Cougars will play in the Big 12. All right. During the head coach's recent radio show, he responded to a fan who said, "I'm disappointed that y'all are heading to the Big 12, but are going to play in a league without Texas and Texas A&M as of 2024. Here's what Dana said, quote, "You can have that opinion about Texas and Texas A&M if you want to, but they are the reasons we weren't in the Big 12. Those two are the specific reasons why we haven't been in the Big 12 for the last 28 years. Screw them. They can go wherever they want. They don't want us, and we don't want them, so move on," end quote.
Wow, cool. Good for him.
Got to believe those words will be bulletin board material.
Oh, yeah, they're going to come back,
Texas,
all right.
October 21st.
Yeah, they'll be back.
And maybe the best NIL deal comes from Oklahoma quarterback. His name is General Booty.
Oh, what a great name. Are you serious? That's his name?
That's his name. He's
General Booty?
Remember Josh Booty, the quarterback at LSU a few years ago.
Wow. There
are videos and photo posts of him riding a horse in Sooner Red Booty boxers. He has a new line of underwear. Maybe he can send you some.
I could use them.
Rock'em socks. His name is General Axel Booty.
Oh, my goodness.
2019 U.S. Open winner Gary Woodland will have surgery September 18th to remove a lesion from his brain.
Ooh, no.
That's not good there.
No.
But hopefully it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Forbes has rated the Cowboys as the NFL's most valuable franchise at over how much you think the Cowboys are worth?
Oh, it's got to be a couple $1 billion.
Higher.
$3 billion?
Higher.
$4 billion.
Higher.
$29 billion.
$9 billion American dollars.
That's just outrageous.
They raked in almost...
To do what? If you paid them $9 billion, how are you going to get your money back?
I'll tell you, in 5 years, they made almost $2 billion last year.
In profits? From what uniforms say? I mean, how do you make $2 billion a year off the Dallas Cowboys? TV rights aren't going to give you all that.
The Patriots are second at 7 bills, and the Rams third at just under 7. The Falcons are number 15, about right in the middle. They're worth $4.7 billion, mainly because of the new stadium there.
Yeah.
And the Bengals are last at $3.5 million. New Orleans is a lowly 27th, worth only a few beads, and they had to show their tatas just to get that much.
Throw me something, mister.
All right, last day, your minor league ballpark food of the day: cider donuts from the Hudson Valley Renegades.
Oh.
Upstate New York, autumnal cakes. They sell them all year round, and they're basically, in one time a year, they call themselves the Apple Valley Cider Donuts. Have you ever had a cider donut?
I can only imagine. It's probably delicious.
It sounds kind of delicious, actually.
I like the donuts. I like are like the frosted, the frosted or the old fashioned. Like that's the kind that our friends used to make. The old fashioned donuts with the frosting on them. Oh, I don't know, either Dunkin' or the other Fried Hoppers or what. I don't know what they're called. Old fashioned and they have a little like frosting on them.
That's funny that you call a donut shop your friend. That's a little sad, actually.
It's a little sad.
I'm hanging out with my friends this weekend.
Yeah, you have donuts.
At the donut shop.
I got the whole bag, buddy. Are you done? Because I got sports birthdays.
I'm done.
All right, well, I saved some sports birthdays in case you had them. I didn't want to double pay.
No, go for it.
Major League pitcher Adam Wainwright, 40. Is he still pitching?
Yes, he is.
Wow. 40 years old. Jean-Claude Keely, 80 years old. The skier. Keely, yeah, but it's Keys. And he was not the one shot by Claudine Langer, Andy Williams this way. That was Spider Savage. And one more, one more sports thing. 45 years ago, 1978, Pete, I don't understand this line. It says Sadahiro Oh of Japan's Yomiuri Giants hit his controversial 800th career home run. Retired with 868. What do they mean controversial? Was there something controversial about his 800th home run?
Well, maybe he stood outside the batter's box like Hank Aaron did that one time or something. By the way, Adam Wainwright pitches for the American League team, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, okay, I made one lousy mistake. It's 5:31. Time for the 5:29 break. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. Oh, look out. It's only me. It's only the Kara. How's it going? Great to have you aboard. Everything's just fine and dandy here. 5:32. A lot of fun stuff coming up, including just in what the leader of the House is going to do if they don't have his way with the Biden investigation. But first, let's talk about locking them up. Lock up your stuff at Atlanta Safe House. Go to atlantasafehouse.com when you get a second, maybe as soon as you get home, just for fun, and look up their product line at Atlanta Safe House, where I've bought two of my safes, two great big gun safes. They were beautiful. In fact, I think they were both. I think one was Browning and one was American Securities a long time ago. And I wish I'd had my Atlanta Safe House safe when I retired down to Florida, because that's where I couldn't find my medical record. I didn't have my medical record safe down there, and it cost me a whole bunch of. Anyway, long story. Lock up your medical records and your marriage certificates and your. Don't carry your Social Security card in your wallet. Put that in your safe. They have safes of all kinds, not just the great big gun safes. And by the way, it is so cool. If you got those big safes like I've had, they have the little spinning wheel on them, and you know, 32 left, 42 right, and you spin the wheel. You feel like a freaking banker. Anyway, in fact, go to atlantasafehouse.com and look at their product line: jewelry safes, business safes, high security safes, vault doors, all the top brands. And in fact, check out their pistol safes, not great big gun safes, but pistol safes, which are very handy and very safe. In fact, check out their family storm shelter safes. I'm not making that up. Man, they take care care of you and your assets. Protect your assets. And I don't mean the little teeny plastic boxes at the drugstore that have a little tiny key in them. That is not a safe. Number one professional delivery and installation service at Atlanta Safe House. They bolted mine into the concrete floor. They'll put it anywhere you want. Lock it up. Lock up your stuff. Protect your assets. Go to atlantasafehouse.com. I think Flounder pulled an audible here on me.
I did.
Is this Hank Williams again?
Yes, it is.
Outstanding. It's the birds. It's the birds. No, it's you can play. I don't care.
This is the birds.
This is the birds. Twang, twang. What was it called? Change,
Pretty
change,
Boy
change.
Floyd?
Pretty Boy Floyd, even better. That was a great movie. Yeah, boy. Our birthdays include Timothy Bottoms, 73 years old today. He was in Paper Chase and The Last Picture Show, and 73 years old, so good for him. My starter wife, the one who actually did love me, had a crush. He was there like our celebrity crush guy, apparently, which I've never forgotten. Sorry. Ladies, don't tell your guy. Don't you? Oh, honey, if you have a celebrity crush, I will let you have sex with mine and so-and-so. Oh, really? Well, I'll try to never remember that. Thank you. Anyway, 5:38. Speaking of chicks, which one of you bastards signed me up for the feet situation here? I was the guy, every time I turn on my phone, and by the way, I just got a nice note from Dr. Fred I was talking about earlier, who's got his letter on the way about my symptoms from my treatment, my radiology stuff. Anyway, what a nice man, just a prince of a doctor. Anyway, I turned on my phone, and all of a sudden there's a picture of Selena Gomez without her shoes on, and it says, "Do you want more like this?" I haven't done a thing. Somebody did something, and now all of a sudden, by mistake, I opened up. I guess I clicked on it, and now it goes to this. There's a website. All right, now tell me if you know. This seems very kinky to me. There's I guess it's a website. There's a link. It's called Celebrity Feet. And all of a sudden, it opened up, and there are pictures of famous celebrity girls barefoot, and I don't mean candid shots while they're walking on the beach. I mean posing in formal gowns, in dresses, in suits, and they're all posing barefoot. And I mean, for example, hold on a minute. It opened up. It's called Celebrity Feet. Natalie Portman, Rosamund Pike, Jennifer Lawrence, Penelope Cruz, Kristen Stewart, Naomi Watts, Gwyneth Paltrow, Natalie Portman, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, the twins, Scarlett Johansson, Keira Knightley, Renee Zellweger. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, wait, hold on a second. It's not these aren't candid shots. In other words, at some point in these girls' career, the photographer said when they're doing their glamour shots, okay, let's get those shoes off. And every one of them said, okay, I'll take a barefoot picture. I mean, my guy, isn't that a little kinky to ask a model to say, we need one of you with your bare feet because we're kinky?
They all know that there's a whole subgenre of weirdos out there like you that love feet.
Well,
and they know
I'm a leg man. I married a girl once for the birthday. Oh, happy birthday! I know. All right, now that's the end of it. That's finally the end. That's the final one. But again, I can't imagine asking Miss Knightley. I wonder if you could take your shoes off, please, so we can get
they have to do it.
I just seems. I mean, I guess everybody's okay. It just seems so funny.
Making money off of it. Yeah.
Good Lord. Anyway, what do I know? I guess I just thought that was so bizarre. All of them. I mean, they're all everybody.
I haven't heard you say you're deleting it from your phone, though. I haven't heard.
Well, that would be ungentlemanly, wouldn't it?
How rude.
But I don't want to be a bad guy. I'm accused of.
Now, this is gambling in this establishment.
Well, I'm
outraged.
Here's your winnings. Oh, close this place down. By the way, did you hear our associates at the Babylon Bee have now come out and found out that there's evidence of President Joe crime family's corruption continuing to mount. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has now issued his most serious threat yet, promising to respond to the Biden administration with the strongest worded letter ever written. Don't test me. I'll totally do it, Speaker McCarthy told members of the media assembled at the U.S. Capitol. If President Biden and his corrupt administration keep blatantly flouting the law and selling out our nation and its citizens, I will have no choice but to write yet another letter explaining my displeasure. This time I'll use even stronger language. That should do the trick. Despite pleas from outraged citizens and select lawmakers to initiate impeachment proceedings against Biden, McCarthy again voiced his belief that a stern letter should yield the results that he really needs for this nation. Why go through the trouble of impeaching the president? McCarthy replied when asked about his seeming refusal to take a more productive and proactive approach. If I were to launch an impeachment inquiry, we could end up uncovering even more corruption and illegal conduct, leading to a massive scandal and the potential removal of President Biden from office. Nobody wants that. This is about holding the administration accountable and drafting the strongest worded letter of all time. The best way to do that at publishing time, evidence of criminal activity on the part of Biden and his surrogates has been discovered, leading McCarthy to order his aides to begin drafting yet another super-duper, extra strongly worded letter of reprimand. So there you are. I'm glad to hear that. Dear God, man.
You think that some of them, they got bit back when they did Clinton. They impeached Clinton, and they got in trouble, the Republicans did. The media were all over him. But just 2 years later, who won the presidency?
Yeah.
George W. Bush, a Republican, so it didn't hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
Show some balls. If they don't impeach Biden, they'll never impeach another Democratic president ever.
Well, I'm hearing some people like Jonathan Turley, who I really admire, a college professor, George Washington University. He's on Fox all the time. And he, one of his opinion pieces just this week said, there's no way they can avoid an inquiry about impeachment. They have to at least do that. It doesn't mean impeachment, but it does mean if they launch an inquiry, it means legally they can start going after records. they can start putting people under oath and subpoenas and depositions, and it's a major step. May not, they may. The theory is you launch an inquiry, and if you find out there's really nothing there, then it's over. But you at least need to find out whether there's something. Well, we know that, but it gives them the power by law to say, all right, let's fork over those freaking bank records.
You know what this all goes back to? And we may be just spinning our wheels and all these controversies that come and go with Biden or any of them outside of Trump. This all goes back to the fact that not one person has been convicted of anything from Epstein's Island.
Or even mentioned.
Yeah, mentioned. No names, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we know who was on some planes, but they all said, well, I was with my family, and I was just talking about investments and stuff like that. But we need to see the video. There apparently video and audio recordings of everybody who had sex with underage girls all over the place. So let's go.
That would explain every weird thing that's happened since.
Let's have it on. Let's just go. I mean, hell, they outed Prince Andrew. The only guy they outed is from Britain. I don't care about a prince in Britain. I want to see Bill Gates there with a 14-year-old girl. Well, no, I don't. I mean, but sorry, that came out way wrong. That's what she said. Anyway, sorry, it's 5:45. By the way, coming up, California Mall said, "Okay, that's it, you kids. We're doing something even different." 5:45. So Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and we have another comedy bit. I think we have maybe another comedy bit. Flounder, absolutely, and we may play the Tucker thing about President Gay Boy Pootie Tat coming up too. 5:45. Look out, here we go. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. 5:48. With Pete Davis and Flounder. Nice to have you aboard. Our number almost out of time, but if you want to join us for anything at all, we're always welcome. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. All right, who's this there, Flounder? I'll play it up.
This is just Widespread Panic.
Widespread Panic. All right, sir. Any particular favorite song or album or anything of yours?
They got a bunch of stuff, but I would say an album called Every Day I'm a big fan of.
All right, sir. And what's this song here?
This is called Time Zone.
Time Zone. All right. Now, was this a big monster hit in the 90s or something?
No, this is I think they wrote this in the early 2000s.
Really? Wow. See, to me, when I keep realizing when I say the 90s, I think it's like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I swear to God. I mean, that very second when you say, no, it's the early 2000s, I said, oh my God, that was 20 years ago. It was early 2000. So, I mean, I'm so, really, I think, like 15 years ago, Jeez, anyway, a couple of historical notes here. On this day in 1146, European leaders outlawed the crossbow. I'll be damned. The year 1645, the day with the American Indians and the Dutch made a peace treaty at New Amsterdam, later to become New York. And speaking of the old days, 1780 on this day, General Benedict Arnold, an American war hero, was miffed at how he had been disrespected and treated and so forth by his American buddies and his lack of Congress giving him what he thought he deserved. And so the treachery began on this day in 1780 as Benedict Arnold promised to surrender the fort at West Point to the British. And that didn't
I'm telling you, there's something called Valiant Ambition, a book by Nathaniel Philbrick, that guy I keep telling people to read.
The Mayflower.
You would not believe how close we came to losing West Point and how close the British came, because of Arnold, to capturing Washington.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you talk about West Point and Saratoga, I mean, that whole part of that.
But General Washington, that was part of the plan to kidnap him.
Yeah. Again, the guy Daniel Philbrick is Nathaniel Philbrick, isn't that it?
Yeah, Nathaniel Philbrick.
Nathaniel Philbrick. And again, Pete gave me the book Mayflower, which is one of the best books I've ever read. And if you don't think you could find entertainment and go, oh, God, I got to keep reading at 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night because it's so interesting about people coming over on the Mayflower. But, it's really, really well done. And I'll bet this thing. What's the name of this one on Benedict?
I think it's called Valiant Ambition. He's got one on General Custer called The Last Stand, which I had no idea there were people from Atlanta involved in Custer's Last Stand.
It's again, I hated history of everything in the world. Like physics and history for subjects in school. But when you can read a history book that makes you go, oh my God, I want to keep going. It's
you know what the problem is?
Yeah.
Teachers. The teachers make it boring.
Yeah.
Quantum physics and history and geography are fascinating if you got the right teacher teaching.
Yeah. To think about what it means, what it could do, how one thing leads to another. When I was at Arizona State, I had my history class professor had us memorize dates.
Yeah, who
that
cares?
was basically it. Yeah.
Who cares?
Unbelievable. Let's see. A quick thing in history, a little musical thing. In 1996, on this day, Billy Bob Thornton's brilliant movie Sling Blade premiered in Colorado.
I like them French fried potatoes.
The movie went on. But now this surprised me. This was 1996. The movie Sling Blade went on to earn Billy Bob an Oscar for best screenplay, not for acting.
And
he literally put broken glass in his shoes so he would walk like that. Do you remember how he walked?
Yeah,
he would shuffle and kind of easily kind of put one down, and it was because he literally said he put broken glass in his shoes so he would be that uncomfortable.
Name me the country music star that was also in that movie.
Oh, I remember John Ritter was in it, played the clerk. The country movie star was Tug McGraw, Tug from the morning show. No.
Tug McGraw was a left-handed
I know. It's his daddy. I know. So no,
it was
not Drew McGraw. No, I can't remember. I won't come out. I'm at the age of name's not coming out. I'm sorry. It's in
Flounder?
there
Who was it?
Forever. It's not going to be out there. It's Lee Jackson, not Jackson.
No.
God, it won't come out.
What's the question, real quick?
Who was the country music star in Sling Blade? He was also in Panic Room.
Now I got you doing it.
It's a weird name.
Long White Cadillac.
Oh, I wouldn't have known anything about that.
Colonel
Dwight
Bruce,
Yoakam.
Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, Dwight Yoakam. There you go.
Colonel Bruce Hampton and Vic Chestnut are also in that movie.
There you are. Outstanding. Very, very cool. Let's see. 553. Should we do the Tucker Carlson? Have you guys heard about that? We played it earlier. This is really strange to me. Tucker Carlson was on the Adam Carolla Show podcast, and a couple of things he mentioned talked about Donald Trump. And he also talked about what might happen to him if he wins. And he talked about Ukraine and a possible third world war and so forth. But here's a pretty interesting part when Tucker Carlson started talking about the most divisive, hate-filled, white-hating president of the United States, Barack Hussein Puttitat.
You know, in 2008, it became really clear that Barack Obama had been having sex with men and smoking crack. And a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, I'll sign an affidavit. And he did. I'll take a lie detector. And he did. I smoked crack with Barack Obama and had sex with him. Well, that was obviously true. Nobody reported it, not because they were squeamish about sex or drugs, but because the Obama campaign said anyone who reports on this gets no access to the Obama campaign. And so they didn't report on it. So that happens. That's just one small example, but that happens all the time with lots of different issues.
Tucker went on to say that he was asked on the former Man Show host, if they were going to actually let Donald Trump be president again if he won again. And Tucker Carlson said, no, of course not. If, they protested him, they called him names, he won anyway. They impeached him twice. They fabricated a lot about what happened to impeach him again. And then he said, Tucker Carlson says, if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment. None of that works. What's next? Tucker Carlson says, quote, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination. Obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't. I don't know how you can't reach that conclusion. You know what it's been like. They've decided permanent Washington. Both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have it. And he's afraid that Trump, if he wins again, will be assassinated. And again, I mentioned earlier, I've never thought that for a second until just now, thinking, God, maybe he's right. That seems awfully flamboyant, but he could be right.
I feared ever since 2016 that someone would take a shot at him.
I'm so naive, I guess. I never thought. But
they're
thought
so
that.
crazy on the left.
I know, but again, they were having so much fun mocking him and making fun of him, and he was in the news, and they were ridiculing. I mean, he was all like, let's pick on Trump again today, like it was their plaything. Why would they get rid of their plaything? Why eliminate him and get somebody in trouble? But now I think it's gotten to the point now. Look what they're doing. We talked about what they're doing to our children in schools. I mean, the left is going nuts. The Ukrainian war. Just one thing after another. The whole world's freaking changing. And again, I mentioned the coup in Gabon in Central Africa. The same family's been running things for 50 years, and finally the people said, okay, that's enough. So the military took over, and the sounds of celebration in the streets were unbelievable, saying finally we're freaking liberated, because one-party rule just isn't going to get it. It's got a lot of oil. It's an oil-rich country, Gabon in Africa, but it's one of the poorest nations anywhere. Wow. And by the way, for the record, we talked about the chance of America having a coup. Countries last usually for about 230 years. We've had ours. There have been 9 coups in the French colonies in 3 years. In Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Chad, Niger, Tunisia, now Gabon, undermining the so-called democratic process because the people have had it with authoritarian rule, one-party rule, which is if the Democrats get the majority back in the House and keep it in the Senate, they'll pass the resolution to make every election a federal election. I'm telling you, they're going toward this. If they win the House in the next election and keep the presidency, they're going to change it to become one-party rule. Remember House Resolution 1, federalizing elections. And they're going to put about 19 members on the Supreme Court. It's true. I'm not making it up. I don't know. Oh, by the way, in California now, over the weekend they gave away those almost free movie tickets, and malls were going nuts because the kids were fighting all over the place. One mall, Marina Valley in Southern California mall, has now said, okay, that's it. If you are under the age of 16, if you were in our mall after 3 o'clock or 4 in the afternoon, you have to have an identification lanyard around your neck. And they've posted a message, God bless them. Mall security is not a babysitting service. It's up to your responsibility of parents to raise their children to be respectful to others and to compose themselves accordingly when out in public. Like that'll work, but at least they're saying it.
We have breaking news.
Breaking news.
Gary says that Mercer's Apple Orchard up in Blue Ridge has apple cider donuts late September through October.
And this is Blue Ridge?
Yeah.
Well, I expect a couple of them one day
I'll
here.
drive through there.
There you go. By the way, one more quick thing on California going to hell, and they want their governor to be president. A Los Angeles jeweler's heartbroken, weeping, doesn't know what to do. His life's over. 3 guys or so in masks came in, pepper sprayed him at his jewelry store, and stole $500,000 worth of stuff while he's agonizing himself on the ground. And a Bay Area councilman in San Francisco was meeting with local shop owners about the horrible issue of crime and all the problems about crime. And then he went back to his bicycle and found out somebody had stolen his keys and his wallet while he was talking to shop owners about crime. I'm telling you, California, and they want him to be president. My Lord. Anyway, boys, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here for another day? My God, I can't believe it's almost...
I'm out to check the land bridge to see if I can get out of here.
Oh, they changed everything again?
Well, the floods and everything. Yeah, who knows?
We'll see. All right, God bless America. Don't forget, don't rub the lamp if you don't want the genie to come out. I don't even know what that means. Have a great Flounder. Hoorah, Semper Fi, Pete. See you tomorrow. Hoorah, Herbert. I gotta go. You're killing me. Where's my harmonica? Oh, here we go. Give me some. Look out.